Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry, and today I'm actually doing a little bit of preemptive maintenance on my VonSchrader dry foam upholstery cleaning machine. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this machine but would like to learn a little bit about it, this is going to be an interesting video. For those who've never heard of this machine, this machine has been around since, I believe they designed and developed this machine originally in the 60s, I think. It might have been even earlier than that. But by VonSchrader. It's an American-made machine, and they make carpet cleaning machines as well. But the upholstery machine is the only machine of theirs that I use. I actually started originally back in the 70s cleaning with a VonSchrader system with my dad, both carpet and furniture cleaning. So that was my introduction to it. The machine, the basic design of this machine actually hasn't changed. It just looks a little different because of the plastic body that they have on it here, and they put bigger wheels on the back compared to the way the original machine worked or looked. And this handle actually pulls out to it, so you can pull it along like a suitcase. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, let's take this off, and there it is. And oh, by the way, I do have my little helpers here. This is Billy the kid, and Jesse James, his little brother. Billy is about 16 months old, and this guy is about 5 months old. And so he's hooked up to me, and we're going to be spending quality time together because this little guy has a few things he has to learn yet. Billy's doing well, so we'll work on that. Little guy. So let's open it up, and what I'm going to do, my plan today is I want to do preventative maintenance to the vacuum motor, because the vacuum motors, the carbon brushes eventually wear down. This is a standard lamb motor. It's actually a, I can't quite see the number there, but it's a standard two-stage tangential discharge vacuum motor, and I'm going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, and basically, let me explain first of all how this thing works. The solution tank is actually right here, and so you fill it up right here, and it'll hold up to 2 gallons. I rarely put that much in because it will last a very long time. I can do an entire sectional couch usually with about half a gallon or so of solution. So usually the maximum I'll put in here is a gallon. There are occasionally I come across a job where I might put 2 gallons in, but that's pretty rare. And then when you put it in, you put the cap on, and the cap has a seal on it because what's very important to the way this thing operates is it does operate with the vacuum motor actually pressurizes the tank, and that's what pumps the solution up this tube right here, and then it goes into this device right here. And there's actually down here, there's actually a well, let me show you, since we're going to pull it apart. Let me show you how it works. I'm being very careful not to disturb this hose right here because it's really expensive, and it's a type of material that will crack and break easily. So I do have an extra one, but I learned when I was changing this to clean this, because you do have to clean this occasionally, that you can easily cause this reinforced hose to split, and then you're done for. It won't produce foam, or it produces really wet foam actually. The reason it has to be this type of hose is because this gets hot from the exhaust gases. So what happens is, on the cleaning head, which plugs in here, there's it has a counter revolving brush head, and there's a switch on it on the handle. So the first position is the motor turns on, the second position the motor turns on, and the solenoid, which is right here, is activated, and the solenoid slams shut the exhaust, which blows out the bottom of the machine, shuts it off, but diverts it up this hose, and the air blows through here, and at the same time there's another hose right here which goes up to here. It pressurizes the tank, which pushes the solution up this hose, which then feeds it into the airflow just in front of this screen, which is like a fine mesh hose screen, and then the air and the solution combining, and that's a special high foaming solution, of course. When it hits the screen, the air blowing through the screen, well, makes like bubbles, like pretty much the consistency of shaving cream, actually. It's about 8 to 10% moisture. And so the advantage of this machine is that it will clean fabrics that you couldn't otherwise clean, because it is a true low moisture process. And once you learn how to use it properly, like any system, this is a great system. I do have hot water extraction machines as well, and I've used them in the past. But this would definitely be, in almost every case, my machine of choice, because it just works so well. It's so simple and easy and effective, and I just like using it. But they're terribly expensive, very expensive. I think if I were to replace this now in Canada, it would cost me nearly $7,000, I think, around there somewhere. So anyway, I got a bungee cord just holding the vacuum tank here. So it's got a built-in vacuum tank, and when you switch to the generating foam, the vacuum shuts off because all the air is then directed to pushing. So you lose your suck. The vacuum hose actually connects right here. But when you turn off the foam generator, then you have suction. So you apply the foam, you scrub it in, and then you shut off the foam, and then you use the vacuum hose that attaches here, and you suck it up so this foam comes back through this hose here into the tank, which is right here. There's a Dacron filter in here, and the tank right there. And in most cases, if I'm cleaning and get the right balance of foam and vacuum, when you get, really skillful on it with this machine, you can actually clean for an hour or two and have virtually nothing end up in this tank. That doesn't sound like like it makes sense, but what happens is, if you're running, if you got your balance right, that you're not using too much foam, using just enough, what'll happen is that the foam gets sucked into the hose, and it evaporates in the hose, and you end up with junk collecting in the hose. So at the end of a big job or whatever, I might take my bucket and put just a little bit of water in the bottom and just suck it up, and then all of a sudden all the junk comes right through the hose and into the tank. But typically, I'll have very little actual moisture in the tank. Sometimes it's bone dry after I've done a whole couch and a chair and love seat or whatever. So that can, if you're using one of these machines and that were to happen to you, you'd think, well, the thing's not sucking anything up, but that's not what's happening. So let's have a look inside here. Now, the cleaning head has a DC motor in it, and it runs on, I think it's 24 volts. And I'm going to show you the transformer in a sec here. And it is also got a reversing switch right here. That's the reversing switch. So usually after I've done a job, I will switch it, especially if I've done a big job, so that the carbon brushes never take a set. I'm going to put this over here out of the way. And I actually pulled the cleaning head apart a few days back and just double checked what the carbon brushes were looking like. But I didn't do this because this is a little more involved, as you'll see. So what you have in here is the power switch is right there. And this is the transformer. And that is actually the reversing diode. There's actually a fuse right over here, by the way. And this is this is on the back side of the foam generator, so it goes over to where the hose for the foam, the cleaning head plugs in here, and there's a, I don't know if you can see that, there's where the foam actually comes out. There's a kind of a tube thing that slides in there off of the hose of the scrub head. The solenoid is right here. This is, over the years, they've actually changed these up a little bit, and this has been an excellent one, because the original one used to have a rubber diaphragm on it that would wear out, and you had to change that every once in a while. They would last a few years, but a lot of people don't understand how to use these machines, don't understand if there's something not working right, how to fix it. They are actually really simple. So, like anything, if you learn how to operate it, you will and understand it, it's not as complicated as you might think. So my plan here now is I've got to get at the motor. Motor's right here. Now this is going to be interesting, and I'm actually sort of thinking as I'm doing this, trying to remember. It's been a while since I did this, so this hose is going to come off of here because I've got to detach everything, and then this hose will be coming off here. Yeah, there we go. I actually had to replace this tank. It started to leak around the drain plug. There's a drain plug on the bottom of the tank. So that had to be replaced. That was a few $100s. That was a couple of years ago now, I guess. I'm thinking I could have done this the other way, actually. Okay, let me think. It's been a while since I did this, and I'm trying to think of something intelligent to say while I'm doing this. Kind of walk and chew gum. Okay. Now this hose will come off of here. Not quite. There we go. There we go. Now, I'm going to grab this screwdriver here, and then we're going to pull this one over here. Okay, I think that's loose enough now. It's been on there for a while. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's turning, it's loosening, and it's off. Okay, good. Now, I do have to detach the, let me get rid of my glasses. I can't focus properly. Can't see up close well enough. So I have to remove the, this hose off of the exhaust horn of the vac motor. Good and loose, good, okay. Now I got to get that to move, and I've got to be really careful because again, this hose could easily be damaged. Get this one out of the way. Okay, now I'll get rid of that hose. There we go. Okay. Oh, there, it's moving. See that? Yep, moving, moving. Okay, I'm going to have to do this a little differently, I think. I don't want to put stress on this hose. That would be bad. Get that clamp out of the way. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's better. Now much better. Okay. So now I should be able to just move this. There we go. Oh, that was... Okay, good. Good. So I'm not going to bend that thing at all. Let's get that out of the way. Hey, Jesse James. Yeah. He's learning. He christened my carpet again last night, so he's got some things to learn for sure. Now what has to happen is this is going to be lifting off. So this whole frame, that is going to be lifting off. And in order to do that, what I need to do is loosen that off. And I think I'm going to loosen this one off too. And then when I lift it, that will come along with it. Okay, now I've got to disconnect my power. Oh, wait a minute, I do have it. Okay, I seem to recall now that when I put it back together before, I used bayonet connectors there. So I think that when I pull the motor up, it'll I can get access to them. Okay, now here's where it gets interesting, because in order to get the frame off, there's these screws here. So I don't know what they call these kind of attachment things, but this is very old school stuff. So I figured that a few years ago, when I was kind of realizing that VonSchrader, because they've been having some issues, I figured that they should have changed the way they make this machine a long time ago. It should have been a roto-molded machine 20 years ago, really. But they never changed, and they're still making it in a very old style. And this would be expensive to build it the way they're doing it. Oh, there we go. Very labor intensive, and you know, this aluminum is not cheap, especially now, eh? All this stuff is getting so expensive. So not that it's not a good machine, it's just they never modernized. That one one's off. And that one's off. Okay. Whoops. Oh, Jesse, you're getting tangled up. Okay, come over here. Come here, little guy. That's a boy. How on earth did that happen? Good grief. Oh, hang on a minute. Got a little dog emergency here. Okay, you got to go back this way. Over this way. Okay, go that way. And then you can go, oops, this way. There you go. Okay. Yeah. He's got things to learn, this little guy, but that's okay. He's a nice little doggy. Okay, now we gotta get the other side off. Let's... Oh, he's biting his own tail. I've never seen him do that yet. And the pliers to grab that screw out of there. There we go. Ooh, looking good. Okay, we're almost at the end here. And then we can pull the whole thing right up and out. Jesse, don't do that. Hey. Okay, I think it's actually loose. There we go. Okay. All right, now I believe I should be able to just lift this straight up, because I have to get at the carbon brushes. So I should just lift up like that. Ha! Just like we planned it, right? Okay, so this is a standard Lamb motor. 113472, I think. So what I'm going to do now is I want to check to see how my carbon brushes look. So turn it over that way. So to do that, trying to remember how I do this now. I gotta get that underneath this cap. That is it's been so long since I did this, but that clip has to be pulled back like that, and then it'll lift up, right? It catches underneath the there it is. It catches underneath the carbon. Oh, no. Yeah, that's what you don't want to do. What I just did, which is just snap the thing off there. Okay, we'll get this one. Oh, it's moving. Okay. There we go. Almost. Almost. Oh, I was going to tell you guys. Maybe you don't know this. Some of you probably do, but carbon brushes in these motors will usually last about 700 hours. when I was working on my PB3 when I first got it, I wanted to check the carbons on that, and I looked up some of the specs on the motors, and the factory said regarding the motors that 700 hours is about how long they last. So when and the machine had about 700 hours, so I opened it up, and sure enough, carbons were almost completely gone. Come on, it is almost off. Not quite. Oh, there it is. I think just have to move the plastic clip. Almost there. Ooh, that is so close. There. Oh, yeah, that's what it needed. There we go. Okay. Now, the commutator does look really good, but what kind of life have I got left on these carbon brushes? That is the question. So, I'm going to open up. Just going to slide out a carbon brush, and we'll take a look. What we're looking for is you want to have, you don't ever want to go below about a quarter of an inch. And if you've got a quarter of an inch or lower or less, then you do want to change your carbon brushes. And if you do that, you will have your motor, assuming that you don't have any issues with bearings or anything, it'll go another 700 hours. Okay, that was the ground I just took off. I actually wanted to take off the carbon brush screw. And the carbon brushes are very inexpensive. And pretty much easy to change, usually. The key, how much have I got here? Let's have a look. Oh, I've got half an inch, I'd say at least. I think, is that how much I got? Oh, I do. Yep, I've got about half an inch or better. Okay, we're good. So now just put it all back together. So, wasn't that exciting? So that is basically how you check your carbon brushes. And all the lamp motors are pretty much the same. One thing you do want to be very careful of is the wire that attaches to the carbon brush. When I did the rebuild on the or the replacement carbons on the PB3, the way the wire connected on the carbon brushes was very, very tricky, and I had to get really creative, and I had to solder a wire, and it was not easy to do. I thought I was going to be unsuccessful, but I was able to do it, and everything was fine. So there you go. So now I'm just going to basically put it all back together, and it'll be fine. And that's how you check your carbon brushes. My motors are all pretty much the same. Just be careful when you take this cap off. This is Bakelite. See, I did actually break that one little hook there. You got to be very careful. That's actually the trickiest part of the whole job, is getting that off. But anyway, there you go. Hope that'll give you guys some insight and understanding. And now you've seen what the inside of a VonSchrader looks like, and you've seen now how you can check the carbons on your own vacuum motor, and give yourself a longer life, save yourself some grief. And because you don't want your motor to suddenly, because when the carbon brushes, when they get right down too small, too short, what'll happen is it'll start arcing, and next thing you know, you burn out your motor and you've got to replace your whole motor. So this will save you some money for sure if you do this. And then, as you can see, it's not that hard to do, really. So anyway, Jesse, I'm gonna let you go. I got to deal with my little doggy anyway. So thank you for watching. Have a good day.